And we're back with KMMA. I'm Andy O.
I'm Khalil Deal.
And we're going to be bringing you our previews and predictions for the UFC Fight Night card in Kansas City here. Starting with the first fight on the main card is Ikram Aliskerov against Andre Muniz. Then we got Randy Brown against Nicholas Dalby, followed by Michel Pereira against Abus Magomedov. Then we got Giga Chikadze against David Onama. We have the final fight of Anthony on Paper Smith against Miang Zhang. And for the main event, we have Ian Machado Gary saving this event against Carlos Prates. So, real deal. Your famed thoughts on the first fight here between Ikram Aliskerov and Andre Muniz.
All right, man. So for this one here, man, I gotta go with Ikram Aliskerov in this one, man. Ikram Aliskerov is really really good. Okay, like this guy has been looking phenomenal since he's been in the UFC. Getting the knockout on Phil Hawes. I mean, that's not spectacular. I mean, everybody knocks out Phil Hawes, but it was still pretty good for his UFC debut there with that right cross. He knocked him out. And then after that, getting a knockout on Warley Alves. And it was a flying knee, too, the knockout that he got against Warley Alves. That was pretty, was a highlight reel type of.
Yeah, and he had all that hype, and then he got destroyed by Whitaker. That's right.
But I mean, the thing is here is that, you know, when he lost to Robert Whitaker, we're talking a fucking really high level fighter in Robert Whitaker here, man. This is like a guy who is, you know, one of the top best in the division, the best in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't think he was ready for that fight personally, but
yeah, like Robert Whitaker is, you know, he's phenomenal, you know, and that's definitely not Andre Muniz. You know what I mean? Like Andre Muniz, he's decent, he's pretty good, he's got some submissions. You know, but he's, you know, he's 35 years old. He hasn't been looking that good either as of late. I mean, you know, getting beaten up badly by Uriah Hall was the last time. No, not sorry, not Uriah, Brendan Allen. Sorry, my bad. Brendan Allen beat him up pretty badly and actually submitted him in that fight. And also Paul Craig ended up knocking out. And you know, Paul Craig is more of a submission guy. He doesn't even really knock out anybody. And he actually knocked out Andre Muniz with ground and pound. The last fight that he won was against Jun Young Park, and it was a split decision. So, like some people would say that, you know, Jun Young Park won that fight. So, you know, he hasn't been looking good in his last three fights. And getting wins over, you know, Eric Anders and Uriah Hall prior to that, you know, and that's many years ago, 2 years and 9 months ago against Uriah Hall, and 3 years and 4 months ago against Eric Anders. So, I mean, like, he's not been looking so good as of late. And Ikram Aliskerov is just on the rise there coming out of Dagestan. This guy, you know, he's got relentless takedowns, relentless grappling. His submission skills are good too. So he's very good on the ground. And I think if Andre Muniz tries to, you know, try to get the fight to the ground and try to use his submission skills, I think he's going to have a hard time.
Well, that's what he has to do.
I mean, if he does do that, he could get submitted himself, you know, so, or even get knocked out with ground and pound on the ground there, because Aliskerov is, you know, very powerful and very good at wrestling and grappling. So I like Ikram Aliskerov in this one, man. I think he comes out here and beats the shit out of Andre Muniz. I got KO submission here for Aliskerov.
Yeah, I think the striking is going to be too much for Muniz to handle, because that's what Iskaram is. He's way better of a striker, and he has a lot of power. He's going to be looking for that knockout, I think. And Muniz has slipped as far as I can see. I was surprised he got that win against Park the last time out there. I had Park. I was very disappointed. It showed that Muniz...
It was very close, though. You know, he could have lost.
I was expecting a better performance, and it showed that Muniz has still a little gas in the tank. He is really good down there on the ground, so... like his BJJ speaks for itself, but at the same time, I don't think he's going to get to that position against Ikram here. I think it was a little too early for him to get that Robert Whitaker fight. He probably deserved to get beaten the way he did to get back down to earth a bit, but here I think it's a good matchup, and here I think he will end up getting the knockout or maybe a decision. But let's go with knockout for Aliskerov.
All right, so we're in agreement with this one here to start off the main card. And by the way, me and NDO, we only disagreed on one fight in the prelims. So let's see if we can continue here in this main card. All right, next fight we got Nicholas Dalby against Randy Brown.
Okay, now this one, Dalby fights are always tough on me. The older Dalby gets, because he's on the right juice. He always seems to make it close, and he doesn't give up. Um, but in this case, I'm gonna have to go with Randy Brown. I think because Randy Brown, man, I think he's better than some people realize. He hits very hard. He has a good jab, and he has great kicks, which I love. And he uses these with his long range. And he's one of those fighters that's getting better and better at using his long range, I find, compared to when he first came onto the scene. So I think that's going to win him the fight, man. He's just going to do a little more damage, a little more hurtful damage at range, and bust Dalby up. But it's going to be close. I still got to go with Randy Brown here. But you real deal.
Oh yeah, man, definitely going with Randy Brown, rude boy Randy Brown, man. I like this guy. Nicholas Dalby's getting up there in age, man. He's 40 years old, and even though he's 40 years old, I mean, he has been looking pretty good. But the last fight against Rinat Fakhretdinov, he lost that one by split decision there.
Yeah, I should have won that one.
He got pretty beaten up pretty badly in that fight there. He got pretty fucked up in that fight though, but he did do a good job in that fight.
He got robbed out of a Saudi robbery on that one, remember?
Yeah, he did. But I do remember him getting damaged up though in that fight, pretty badly there. And Randy Brown too lost his last fight, but it was against Brian Battle and it was a split decision. It was very close. So both of these guys losing their last fights by split decision could have gone either way for both these guys. But yeah, Randy Brown, man, I just like the fact that he's going to be 4 inches taller than Nicholas Dalby. He's going to have a 4.5 inch reach advantage as well for Randy Brown. So the height advantage, the reach advantage. Nicholas Dalby's not a guy that gets finished. I mean, the guy is very strong. He's very powerful and durable. He's never been knocked out or subbed. But you can see here he has 5 losses, all by decision. And I think that this is one of these fights there where he could lose by decision because Randy Brown is going to use his height advantage and reach advantage to keep a distance. He has to create space in this fight where he needs to keep a distance from Nicholas Dalby. Don't let Dalby try to rush in on him and get him against the clinch and against the cage like he likes to do. Keep that distance. Keep jabbing him up, punching him up, hitting him with some hard punches. Leg kicks as well, body kicks, things like that. And I think that's what he's going to do in this fight. I think that he's going to lace him up with the punches, lace him up with leg kicks, keep that distance, and he's going to frustrate Dalby that he's not going to be able to get in close to try to grapple or wrestle with him or even try to, get in the clinch. And Randy Brown also can fuck around on the ground. He's got 5 submissions too. He knows how to wrestle and grapple too. So I think that Randy Brown is going to be too good here for this guy. I like Randy Brown winning this one. I think he wins by decision in this one. All right, so we're in agreement with this one as well. Nice. Let's move on up to the next fight here. All right, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. Michel Pereira against Abus Magomedov. I am having a hard time with this one. I'm not going to lie here. This is a tough one to call. Both of these guys, I mean, Michel Pereira, he's mostly a first round guy or bust sometimes. I mean, his gas tank sucks, but so does Abus. Both of these guys don't have the greatest gas tank, but I think Abus has a better gas tank than Michel Pereira, though.
He showed a bit of that last fight, I guess, but I'm still not sold on that. And I don't know what happened with Pereira losing his gas like in the first minute, for a guy in that shape. It's crazy, eh?
Yeah, seriously, but Michel Pereira, though, I mean, the guy's got so many fights, man. We're talking 43 fights, man. 31 wins, 12 losses. He's just fought so much in the UFC, and he's been looking good lately, man. He had a four fight winning streak until he got that last loss against Fluffy Hernandez. But against Fluffy Hernandez, that was a really brutal fight where he got
a tough matchup.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he got knocked out badly by ground and pound there against Fluffy. But I mean, Fluffy is elite. Whereas Abus Magomedov, he did lose two fights in a row to Sean Strickland and Caio Barrio, but then he won against Worley Alves and Bruno Ferreira, where he actually submitted Bruno Ferreira, which was shocking in that one. Um, Listen, man, it's a tough one, man. This is going to be a very good fight. I'm going to slightly lean Michel Pereira in this one. I will tell you, though, on Friday when we have the bets, a nice little dog play on Abus Magomedov here. I will definitely put a sprinkle because, he is pretty good, Abus Magomedov. I mean, the guy is pretty strong. He's pretty built. He's on the juice, too. He's a tough guy. He's got good. He's good. He's good overall in everything. So, but I'm going to go with Michel Pereira. The reason why, just because he's a bit more dynamic, he's a bit more explosive. You never know what he's going to do. This is a guy that comes in there and does front flips and back flips and flying knees and spinning kicks and all kinds of crazy stunts. So you never know what Michel Pereira is going to do. And I could see him coming out there and just landing something crazy on Abus and maybe getting a knockout. I don't think this fight goes the distance between these two. I'm going to call KO sub for Michel Pereira.
yeah, I'm gonna go with the guy that's also a lot faster in Michel Pereira, and I think that's gonna help him getting him a quick win here. Quick, I mean within the first round and a half. I really see him coming out like a ball of fire and really taking Abbas a little aback by that because he likes a little slower Abbas.
That's
Uh, One thing I want to say about Abus is, yeah, his cardio did get a little better, I think, than it used to be before because it was like awful before. And he does have pretty good varied striking, which I didn't think he did. So he can mix it up fairly well. But I still don't like the guy. Give me Michel Pereira by knockout or sub in round one or two.
nice. So we're in agreement with this fight as well. Nice. All right, let's move on up to the next fight. Another tough one, man. Giga Chikadze against David Onama. This is another tough one, man, to call here. Um, the last fight for Giga Chikadze, he lost to Arnold Allen, beat him up pretty good in that fight. And then, he also lost to Calvin Kattar, who we saw the last fight of Calvin Kattar not looking too great. He did beat Alex Caceres and Edson Barbosa. That's one thing that people forget is that Giga Chikadze actually beat Edson Barbosa by knockout. 3 years ago. That was a long time ago, but still, that's something to note. Um, David Onama though has been looking amazing lately. Coming after that loss to Nate Landwehr, Nate the Train. That's a he's a solid guy. And then after that, just blasting through his opponents. Gabriel Santos got a knockout there. Jonathan Pierce, unanimous decision, and also against Roberto Romero, who's also in this fight, in this card. Sorry. So it's a tough one to call, man. I just think that I'm going to give a slight lean to David Onama because he has grappling. He has some wrestling skills, and that's the problem with Giga Chikadze. He does not have any ground game. When he gets taken down, he has a problem with guys who take him down. Arnold Allen did that to him, took him down a few times in that fight, and was able to stay on top of him. And we saw that Giga Chikadze was struggling on the ground. David Onama does have 4 submissions, 7 knockouts. He knows how to grapple. He knows how to wrestle. And I think that he's going to come in here with a wrestling type of game plan against Giga. He's going to take him down, maybe hit him with some ground and pound, and maybe submit him. I'm not saying this with the highest of confidence. I'm going to go with David Onama though to get the win here. I think he wins by submission or decision in this one here. But I'm not saying it with the highest of confidence, man. I think a sprinkle on Giga come Friday there for the betting. We'll talk about it, but
Too close. You have to pick right on this. Too close, the odds, I think. So,
no, I think Giga's a fairly decent dog here. He's a
anyway, I got to go with Giga here, man, myself. You have Onama?
I have Onama to win by sub or decision here.
No, so I'm gonna go with how they fight a little bit here. So with what's gonna happen in this fight is that they both like striking from distance. They like using their kickboxing. Onama probably has more power, but point is they're both gonna give each other the space they want, and I think Giga is more skilled in those spaces. Onama, when he does, what he's going to have to worry about is Onama's power. And when he comes in there, looking to box a little bit, Giga has to stay away from those powerful strikes. I don't think Onama is going to be hard pressed to bring the fight to the ground unless absolutely necessary. I think Onama likes to be on the feet just as much as Giga does. So I think it's going to be pretty much a fun stand up battle. I always think Giga's going to get his head knocked off because just the way it looks like a head that's going to get knocked off its body, but it never really seems to happen. So that, me too, I'm not confident at all. But I think in this particular fight, I think Giga's skills are going to be a little bit more than Onama's, and he's going to come away with the decision victory or possibly a knockout. We got to remember that Giga kick there. So if that lands somewhere in the liver area, it's going to be curtains for Onama.
Yeah, and by the way, he is a big dog. It's 2.5 times your money for Jiga, 1.57 for Onama. So
Oh,
he is a pretty decent dog. That's why I'm saying I think on Friday for the betting, a little sprinkle on Jiga. He might be he'll make my dog play there, one of my dog plays. But I'm going to slightly lean David Onama. I think that he might get the grappling going in this one and try to
oh,
use his submission skills.
yeah. I thought the odds were a lot closer. So yeah, I
Yeah, you
guess.
might want to grab Jiga now too. If you're on the Jiga side, grab him now at those.
Yeah, yeah. I guess yeah. Going with the dog. I didn't even think so really, but yeah. Here we go.
All right, so we're in disagreement with this one, but hey, we haven't disagreed on that many fights in this card so far, so it's looking good. Let's move on up to the next fight here. We got Lionheart Anthony Smith against Ming Yang Zhang.
Okay, man, I gotta say, there's no way I can make a serious pick in any way on paper, Anthony Smith here, because just on paper, I don't see it. Ming Yang Zhang, he's looked really dangerous with his knockout power and his great boxing and his good chin. And I think he's just gonna knock Anthony Smith out. But there are concerns here. And Ming Yang Zhang, how good is he at stopping takedowns? How good is he on the ground? We still don't know any of these things. And these are things that I brought up before every one of Ming Yang's fights that we've seen so far, and we still haven't gotten an answer for that. So if Anthony Smith suddenly thinks, hey, the best part of my game is my groundwork, my BJJ, and my subs, might as well try to get Ming Yang down right away. But Smith doesn't really like fighting that way. Uh, so yeah, the pick is here, Ming Yang Zhang by knockout. But would I be absolutely shocked if Anthony Smith subbed out Ming Yang Zhang right away, like he did with that that juiced out Brazilian guy who's pretty good?
Yeah,
Right?
he caught him with that crazy submission guillotine choke on Vitor Petrino. I remember
Yeah, yeah.
we all lost our money on Vitor Petrino.
At,
I remember that.
at the same time, you see it's possible, but I don't see Ming Yang Zhang going for a takedown and getting caught in something like that. So it would have to be Anthony Smith getting him down and then doing something there. That's the only way I can see really Anthony Smith winning this one. But do I have any faith in that at all? At all? No, no. These are just Pearl, possible sprinkles coming up on Friday. But for now, we got Ming Yang Zhang knockout in round one.
Yeah, man, I gotta go with Ming Yang Zhang. I mean, a little salt tap on Anthony Smith there.
I'm con- yeah, I'm considering tap or it could even be a Pearl sub for Anthony Smith. That's what I'm.
Yeah, because you never know with this sneaky motherfucker. Anthony Smith is a sneaky guy though, and he's a vet. He's fought for so long in the UFC. We're looking at what is it, 59 fights he's had.
But he's telling us he doesn't want to win. He's even saying stuff like that. He's retiring. It's like shit,
Yeah.
man. I can't pick you though.
Yeah, that's it. He is retiring. And we did hear that he is retiring, and that's concerning because if he's going to be retiring, how motivated is he going to be in this fight? And Ming Yang Zhang's got power like beyond power, but
Like, yeah, if it's Anthony Smith's like goodbye, sad goodbye for like the guy has a job doing his UFC stuff already, but I don't think Ming Yang Zhang cares about that shit. I still think he wants to knock him out, so.
now, to answer your question there, and when you talked about does Ming Yang Zhang have a ground game, he actually does. He's got 6 submissions in his back pocket. All of his fights have been by finish. He's got 12 knockouts, 6 submissions. So
Yeah, but these are, low level
I know
fights.
low level guys.
I haven't even been able to track them down, to be honest, to take a look.
Yeah,
So
no, look, I agree that we haven't seen it yet,
yeah,
but he does have the submissions in his back pocket, which tells me that he does know how to fight on the ground. He has a couple of rear naked chokes that I see here, so he does know how to fight on the ground, and he has
if
a guillotine too. So
if he winds up on the ground and prevents Anthony Smith from subbing him, I'll be impressed enough. Let's leave it that.
sure, for sure. The pick is going to be Ming Yang Zhang by knockout. We could see that Anthony Smith, out of his 21 losses, the majority have been by knockout. 12 knockout losses for Anthony Smith. So, his chin is pretty fucking, finished at this point. So,
Oh yeah,
power, the kind of power that Ming Yang Zhang has in his hands there, it's going to destroy Anthony Smith if he lands one on his face or his.
well, you can tell how he reacts to getting hit. Even
And even Dominic Reyes managed to knock out Anthony Smith in the last fight there. So if Dominic Reyes can knock out Anthony
well,
Smith, I definitely think that Ming Yang Zhang can knock him out as well there. So we're in agreement with this one, both going for Ming Yang Zhang by knockout in the first or second round. All right, now we've made it to the main event of the evening. Guys, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If you're new, we're at 67. We need 3 more subscribers to make it to 70. Let's do it. Smash the sub button. So we got the main event here, Carlos Prates and Ian Garry here. And for this one here, man, it was I was really like trying to figure out what to do with
did you figure it out yet? Because it's my turn.
you go first. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Look, man. I'm glad Ian Garry took this fight. It's going to be a killer main event here. I know everyone's going to say, "Oh, Carlos Prates doesn't have any takedown defense, and that's an easy path to victory for Ian Garry." Well, maybe not easy, but the thing you should definitely try and do, right? At the same time, you notice that Neil Magny tried to take down Carlos Prates 7 times, but failed in every one of those attempts. And Carlos Prates destroyed Neil Magny on the feet. That could be true, right? But at the same time, Neil Magny's takedowns are like quarter takedowns or half takedowns attempts at best. They're not really full-fledged. I'm gonna die trying to get this takedown. So that's still a question mark. I'm not saying Carlos Prates has bad takedown defense. I still say it's probably better than most people think, but it's definitely something Gary's going to use to mix it up with Carlos Prates. Carlos Pratos' strength is his Muay Thai, which may be the best in the UFC by the looks of the way he knocks people out, like barely touching them, hitting people in the right spot. It's always a worry. But I think Gary's a very smart fighter on the feet too. He probably doesn't have as much power as Prates, but I think he has a little bit more of a blend, and he's kind of more thoughtful in the way he strikes. So all that being said, I'm gonna have to lean slightly with Ian Garry. He impressed me in that fight with Shavkat Rakhmonov to get him his first loss. In a way, I'm happy he got that loss out of the way, so it's not even part of his game anymore to stay undefeated or whatever. So I'm gonna go with Garry, the savior of the card, to get to a decision with Carlos Prates. Decision victory for Ian Garry.
All right, man. So I was thinking a lot about this fight here and who I was going to pick. Guess who I'm picking? Take a look right here.
I'm gonna make an honest.
Take a look at my glasses here.
Oh,
we're going with the fighting nerds, baby. We're going with the fighting nerds. I gotta go with the fighting nerds. I'm going with Carlos Prates, man. I'm going with Carlos Prates to get the win in this one, man.
He wasn't. Yeah, okay. But he's not an original fighting nerds team, eh? He wasn't one of those main four, the four horsemen, though. Originally.
Oh no, he was one of the main guys in the fighting nerds.
He was. Eh? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, love it, man. I had a feeling you may go with Prates, but it's anyway close.
I'm going with Carlos Prates. I do like Ian Garry a lot. I think Ian Garry's really a solid fighter. He's 15-1, man. He's only lost once. Ian Garry is good, but the thing is here. A lot of people forget that don't think that Carlos Prates actually does have a ground game. He does. He has 3 submissions. And he fights with guys in the Fighting Nerds that also have very good grappling, like Caio Barrayo and other guys in the Fighting Nerds that can grapple. I mean, Prates has knockout power too, and he's really really strong in there. I think Ian Gary he's going to come in there thinking that he's going to underestimate Carlos Prates. I think, and I think he can get clipped or even if he tries to go for a takedown, I think that Carlos Prates will stuff those takedowns and will be able to land some powerful punches on Ian Gary. I'm not so impressed by Ian Gary's resume. If we really think about it and we look at the fights that Ian Gary had, it's against guys like Daniel Rodriguez, Neil Magny, Jeff Neal, Michael Venom Page. So it's not the highest level of fight.
Oh, his climb has been good though. If you tell, like the level of skill at each opposition has been like spot on though. Like
I agree. But I mean, I'm just saying that, like, look, for example, against Neil Magny, right? He won by unanimous decision. But guess what? Carlos Prates knocked out Neil Magny, right? There's some MMA math there. I also like the fact that, Carlos Prates is knocking out guys like Jing Yang Lee. He's knocking out Charles Radke. He's knocking out Trevin Giles. I mean, the guy's coming in here and knocking motherfuckers out. And whereas Ian Gary, he's getting decision wins. He got that one knockout against D-Rod. I find personally that Daniel Rodriguez is on the decline. He's a little bit washed. And then losing to Shavkat Rakhmonov by unanimous decision. I think Shavkat Rakhmonov did a very good job in that fight and really pieced him up and really, fucked him up in that fight, man. So
no, it was very close.
It was close. But I mean, the unanimous decision still for Shavkat, and he fucked him up, but
The unanimous decisions could be among the closest fights you'll see, though, sometimes, don't forget.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I'm gonna go with the dog in this one. I think it's let me see if what the odds are now. Yeah, Carlos Prates is the dog still in this one here. It's not a huge dog, but he's a slight underdog here. But I'm gonna take Carlos Prates to get the win. I think that he lands something hard on Ian Gary, and I mean, look, he's got to lose at some point here. Eh? He only has that one loss. I think he's going to lose again, man. I think that this is the fight where he could do it. He's got 5 rounds to just land something hard on Ian Gary.
Is this MMA math? Like, Ian Gary's never been knocked out, so I guess it's never going to happen.
No.
Sorry, Prates. Sorry, Prates.
No. But I mean, like, hey, there's a first time for everything, man. I know he hasn't been finished yet, but the kind of power that Carlos Prates has, man, I think he can knock out Ian Gary.
Yeah,
and the Fighting Nerds, man, they are going to be... they're going to be definitely they're going to come up with a good game plan.
They scare me for sure. For sure, the Fighting Nerds, they scare me. They're always on point. It should be a great fight, but no, I forgot what I was going to say there. But no, great fight. I'm happy we're having it.
They're gonna come up with a good game plan here to beat Ian Gary. I mean, they'll probably follow a similar game plan that Shavkat Rakhmonov followed there. So yeah, we're going with the Fighting Nerds, baby.
Sorry.
The Fighting Nerds, baby.
Sorry, all I was gonna say about Gary, it's like, okay, he doesn't have the flashy knockouts, and like really the knockouts that seem to come out of nowhere. Prates can knock you out with a little clip right in the right spot. Like, I know you don't see that type of stuff with Gary, but you still can be impressed with the way Gary fights and knows when to go to the takedowns at the right time. Like in his fight against Venom Page, that was a good example. He knew what he had to do to win because there was a risk that he could actually lose the fight against Michael Venom Page on the feet if it stayed that way, right? So things in Gary's game that may not be so flashy impress me a little bit too. So that's what I'm looking for here, despite the Fighting Nerds.
So we're in disagreement with only 2 fights in the main card and only 1 fight in the prelim. So hey, we only disagreed on 3 out of 14 fights. That's pretty damn good. But you can see, as my glasses show here, I got to stick with the Fighting Nerds, man. I am not getting off the train until I see these guys lose. So there you have it, folks. Our early predictions for the main card. And if you like the video, do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new.
Yeah, it's free. It's easy. Boom.
So peace out, folks. Stay tuned for Friday for our official bets video and our final predictions and thoughts and face-offs.